I want to turn to an issue that I think has been really important for many Muslim Americans, and that is, according to a 2005 poll that was commissioned by the Council on American Islamic Relations, more than two-thirds, 68% of Americans polled said they'd have a more favorable view of Muslims if people of the Islamic faith worked harder to persuade the rest of the world that women are treated better in the Muslim world, to improve the status and effect and the image of women in the Muslim world. So before we explore this issue, back to one of the Allah Made Me Funny clips. Let's listen.
I think women are so smart they invented chess, right? The game of chess, really. Now hear me out. Because if you really look at the game of chess, right? If you really look at it, the king, right? The king, quote unquote, the king can only move one step at a time. Really, a step here, here, here. The poor guy is stuck in a circle, man, right? Right? It's like he's in a marriage, huh? Yeah. He wants to go, but he knows if he does, he's going to lose half of his stuff, man. That's all it is. Yeah. Hey, what about the queen? Oh, the queen can go wherever the hell she wants to go.
Man, there's so much stereotyping going on. Come on, people. You all agree with me? How many people say the media, he's got it out for us? Come on, be honest. Yeah, it's true. I mean, the two biggest stereotypes the media always perpetuates, right? Muslim men are terrorists, and Muslim women are oppressed. Have these people ever been in a Muslim household? They have it exactly opposite. Muslim women are terrorists. Muslim men are oppressed as hell. The emasculated Muslim man syndrome. I ain't talking big game. Like, that's what I said. Isn't that right, honey? Unless they're in the Middle East, then they go, isn't that right, honey? Honey. Honey. Honey.
All right, a humorous look at a serious issue. Jamila Karim, let me ask you to comment on this question first of whether Muslims around the world could do a better job of explaining to non-Muslims how women are treated and what the image of women is in Islam.
Well, what I want to say is that certainly there are injustices against women in Muslim communities, and there is an issue of how women are treated, but that in no way is specific or unique to Muslim communities. So I think that we need to question, one, gender discrimination in all contexts, and I think we need to be more critical about why Muslims and Muslim women are singled out in that way. Why are negative images or oppressive images of Muslim women broadcasted so regularly?
Muslim women get an undue amount of attention when it comes to the issue of oppression or liberation. And I think that the kinds of news stories that we've seen taking place around the world have put a great deal of attention on this group of women, but that coverage doesn't take into account the kinds of rich and diverse experiences that we have. I and Professor Jamila and others are just as strong examples of what takes place within the Muslim community with regard to women as those other negative and unfortunate examples. I can't tell you how many Muslim women that I know in the United States and in other places who are professors and physicians and engineers and police officers and who are law-abiding citizens and contributing citizens and mothers and daughters and neighbors all at once, and their experiences are so much more rich and interesting than we get to see. And I wish that more of those stories would get told.
Let's take a look at a clip of a young Muslim woman, Shireen Yusuf. She chooses to wear the hijab, which of course is the headscarf, and in this particular clip she talks about how she deals with that with an interfaith group, obviously people of different religions. Let's take a look at that.
But before I begin, I would like to answer all questions related to wearing the headscarf, which is called a hijab, by the way, not a towel, or a sheet, or a blanket, or a thingy. No, I am not bald. No, I am not hot. No, I do not have a disease. Yes, it does keep me warm during the winter. No, I am not a nun. No, I am not oppressed. Yes, I actually do choose to wear this. And no, I will not go back to my country because this is my country. Now, for the real question at hand, why do I wear hijab? The reason Muslim women wear the headscarf is simply to cover their hair. They also wear loose clothing that is not see-through to cover their bodies. The purpose of hijab is best described in an article written by an American named Zeba Khan, entitled Dun 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 Dun, The Hijab, that says that a Muslim woman who wears a scarf allows herself to be judged only by who she is, what she says and does, and how she interacts with others, not on what is allotted to her physically. Emphasis is placed not on external beauty, but instead on internal beauty, of which all women have equal potential. Interestingly enough, this is quite the opposite of oppression. Not to mention, it's what all women want, Muslim or non-Muslim.
Ibo Patel, let me ask you to just make a comment on this. Do you find this to be like an icebreaker issue, that it's because it's physically obvious that it's something you can talk about initially, or how is this question used in your training programs and so on?
Well, I think that the hijab symbolizes many things to many people, and I think what is always respectful to do is to ask the person, what does it mean to you? And I think that that's why what Shireen does is so wonderful, is that she tells people why she chooses to wear the hijab and what it symbolizes to her. I think it's the same thing that you would say to somebody who wears a cross or somebody who wears a yarmulke, is what does that mean to you? And that's a great way of not just finding out about the symbol, but also finding out about that person's story.
Could you identify a religious Muslim woman by virtue of the fact that she's wearing hijab, or is it something else?
A lot of women cover because of identity. They want to be known as Muslim. A student at Spelman, a non-Muslim who has a Muslim grandfather, told me that right after 9/11, she put on the hijab just to show that she was in solidarity with her grandfather, and that she wanted to be able to ask questions that were raised about the hijab. So again, that she could speak on behalf of Islam. So there are many reasons why women wear it, even the ways in which women wear. There are diverse ways that women cover, and they're often making cultural or political statements.
And I like to draw the analogy when I ask people, if we've seen all the depictions of Mary, the mother of Jesus, she's always wearing a scarf. You see a Catholic nun, she's wearing what looks like, the Muslim hijab or the Muslim woman's dress. And then you see a Muslim woman. When you see it in Mary, nobody questions that. When you see it in the Catholic nun, you speak of devotion. But somehow, when it's the Muslim woman that is wearing it, there is something oppressive about it.
I think also what the big problem I have with all this discussion around, status of women in Islam, status of women in Muslim countries, which often is Westerners or Americans in particular, to me smacks of a really provocative and disturbing ethnocentricity. We're on the brink in this country of finally potentially getting our first female presidential candidate, whereas the Muslim world has been throwing out female heads of state for the last 100 years. I mean, Pakistan has had a female prime minister, Malaysia has had a female prime minister, Bangladesh has had a female prime minister. So even politically, the representation of women in those countries in public roles, although we tend to, again, assume and have a lot of cultural assumptions about those parts of the world, are often not true.